you know how thermal power plants generate electricity? The thermal power plants have an excessively big machine known as steam turbine. The shaft of the turbine is connected to the generator. So as the turbine spins, the generator generates electricity. As the name indicates, this steam turbine needs steam to spin. To produce steam, fuels like coal and natural gas are used to heat water, and at its boiling point, we get steam. But the pollution from burning this coal and natural gas is affecting our climate. So, do we have any other method to heat water without affecting our climate? Yeah, we have sun. Is it possible to produce steam from solar energy? To know more about this, continue watching. Hi, I'm Benila. On today's video, I'm talking about ocean thermal energy conversion or OTEC. When sunlight reaches the Earth's surface, the oceans absorb some of its energy and stores it as heat. Most of the energy absorbed is closest to the surface. It has warm surface water and cold deep water. Let's say the warm surface water be around 30 degrees Celsius. Can we produce steam at this temperature? We all know that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. In other words, the water will turn to steam only at 100 degrees Celsius. But how can we produce steam without 30 degree warm water? Let me explain this interesting fact. Do you know the boiling point varies with altitude? This means the boiling point of water at sea level is not same as the boiling point of water at the top of the mountain. This is because at higher altitude pressure will be low. For example, the boiling point of water at Everest is 68 degrees Celsius. Therefore, at places where pressure is lower than the pressure at Everest, water can be boiled at 30 degrees Celsius. This is one of the concepts behind the ocean thermal energy conversion. In this technology, warm surface water is pumped into the evacuated chamber where the pressure is low. Due to this low pressure, water boils at normal temperature. This steam is used to drive the turbine, which is coupled to the generator that produces electricity. The steam is then converted to water in the condenser by exposure to cold water, which is pumped from the depth of 1000 meters. The output from the condenser will be the desalinated fresh water that can be used for drinking, irrigation or aquaculture. The residue is discharged back into the ocean. Since the output is not fed back, this type is called open cycle ocean thermal energy conversion. As I said earlier, here the low pressure steam is used. So we need low pressure turbine for this system. But the problem here is the size of those low pressure turbine will be very large. Several engineers worked on finding a solution to this problem. That's when they found the closed loop ocean thermal energy conversion. Let's see how this works. We need some method to produce steam. For what purpose? We need steam to run the turbine. That doesn't mean that it should be water vapor. It can be a vapor from any liquid. We have lots of other liquids. Different liquids have different boiling point. If we can't find a liquid whose boiling point is very low, then we can replace this low pressure seawater with that liquid. The best suitable liquid here will be ammonia. To vaporize this ammonia, heat exchanger is used. First, let me explain this heat exchanger concept with an example. If we have a cup of hot water, to cool it down quickly, we can immerse it into a vessel of cold water. Now the heat will be exchanged between the hot water and the cold water, and the hot water will be cooled quickly. This is the same concept applied here. The warm seawater vaporizes ammonia. The vapor turns on the turbine. The vapor is then condensed in a condenser using cold deep sea water. Now, remember, here the output of the condenser is not fresh water, it's ammonia. So, this is then pumped back to repeat the cycle. This is called closed cycle ocean thermal energy conversion, as the ammonia remains in a closed system and circulates continuously. Even though the size of the turbine used here is smaller than the size of turbine used in the open cycle system, we don't get the desalinated water from this system. If you want to enjoy the advantages of both closed cycle and open cycle ocean thermal energy conversion, we must combine them both. This kind of system is called hybrid cycle ocean thermal energy conversion. Here, the warm surface water vaporizes ammonia, which drives the turbine to produce the electricity. the steam condenses within the condenser and provides desalinated water. The efficiency of the OTEC is higher when the temperature difference between the surface water and deep sea water is around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. So only tropical region can utilize this system. This means India is one of the countries which can enjoy this favor. In July 2021, the Indian Union Cabinet has approved a deep ocean mission whose one of its projects is to explore the source of thermal energy. If everything goes well, India may get power from OTEC power plants. The Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion or OTEC can be placed either on a floating platform or on a land closest to sea. For land-based OTEC, pipelines go to the sea to bring warm surface water and cold deep sea water. In Hawaii, a company called Mackay Ocean Engineering is operating a 100 kilowatt land-based OTEC plant. For the floating OTEC, the floating platforms are anchored. What can we do with this power? After all, it's in the middle of the sea. We have two options. We can either transmit the power generated to the shore through power cables, or we can build an industry in a floating platform and use all the power generated through OTEC for the operation of that industry. Now, you may ask me, what industry can operate in the middle of the sea? From where do we get the raw materials? I will explain them all. First thing, what raw materials we can find in the middle of the sea? We have water and air. What can we get from water and air? We know that water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. To split this hydrogen and oxygen, electrolysis is done. Electrolysis is a process in which electricity is used to decompose water into hydrogen and oxygen. Since our electricity comes from OTEC, which is renewable energy, produced hydrogen is called green hydrogen. If you want to know more about this, check my video on green hydrogen. But transporting hydrogen from one place to another is a big deal. So, normally, hydrogen is converted to liquid ammonia and transported. Why ammonia? Because ammonia has 1 part of nitrogen and 3 parts of hydrogen. Where do we get nitrogen? It's all present in the air. By this way, hydrogen is liquefied to ammonia and transported. We also get oxygen from this electrolysis process. This can be used for medical purposes. During this COVID situation, we all know how important this oxygen is. That's all about ocean thermal energy conversion. If you are interested in this kind of video, check out this video where I explain how we can bring power from space. Thank you so much for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button. See you in my next video.